Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has gotten under the skin of both right-wingers and a good number of people who consider themselves near the center in a way that few politicians generally do. But the way that she's been attacked so early on in her career, very often to me, it just reeks of a combination of quite a bit of misogyny, a little bit of racism as well, and certainly some hypocrisy, which we're going to talk about on the program today. So first of all, Vox did a great write-up of some of the examples of people just immediately trying to disqualify her intellectually because of either missteps or things they want you to believe are missteps. Here are a few quick examples. Norm Ornstein says, this is a person not ready for prime time, certainly not ready for Congress, which is news to the majority of her district that voted for. Writing at the Daily Beast, Matt Lewis offered the telegenic it girl of the left some advice. You have the potential for a very bright future. Don't blow it. Take your time. Avoid overexposure. Bone up on the issues. Do the hard work. There's no reason to be in a rush. I don't know if she was in a rush when she was getting her multiple degrees, including in economics. That's odd.
And also maybe the reason to be in a rush is that the republic is at risk of crumbling and our freedoms are at assault every single day, and so it sort of is a huge rush.
Yeah, that's true, that's true. We have one more. In one example where people are saying you messed up on a policy, she apparently called Obamacare the premium a tax, which it's not, which I would actually argue with. But Glenn Kessler wrote, this appears to be an example of not understanding policy nuances. I think it's an example of people attempting to pick apart every single word of a woman who's been interviewed 25,000 times since she won her primary. So here's the thing. She is a young socialist Latina woman. And it is possible that our standards for people like that are a little bit different for other people who are more typical of the demographics of elected government, which tend to be white males, typically older. Now, I've been in media long enough to know that those sorts of people have said a lot of really stupid stuff. And I have not often seen editorials saying, well, you know, I think that they have a chance of really making it someday, but they need to bone up, do the hard work, go back down before running again, you know, that condescending sort of stuff.
How old is Charlie Kirk? He's like 21, gets on Fox News every single week.
He has never tweeted something that was accurate. It's never happened.
He didn't go to college, and then he uses that as like, you know, I didn't go to college. That's why I can speak about, you know, the middle class. Like, and also, oh my God.
The gumption of saying that she doesn't understand political nuances, and that's why she should stop. We have a president who I don't believe understands the definition of just the word nuances itself, is just so mind-boggling. And over very small mistakes so it's not even, it's already been a mistake, right? So she called the Obamacare premium a tax. Well, exactly in 2012, when the Supreme Court saved Obamacare for the first time, it was because John Roberts joined the majority opinion that in fact that the penalty, if you don't pay the premium, is classified as a tax, and that's what saved it. That's what made the law. So we're talking about a tiny shift. It's such a nuance that that I never hear politicians speak with that level of accuracy, to be honest.
That's right.
I mean, with AOC, I really feel like, you know, haters gonna hate. This is absolutely a case of haters gonna hate. And they're jealous. And they're jealous that they had no idea who she was, that they didn't think she was gonna win, and that it's totally a finger in the eye of, you know, a more establishment, whether left or right, but establishment politicians.
And I think it's also, they're trying to knock her down, right? They're trying to undercut her credibility, and that's something that's important because she is out there doing a lot of media. It's very hard to get media heat around some of these socialist ideas that she has, you know, openly socialist ideas that she has, around some of these progressive ideas that she has that may have nothing to do with socialism. But the point I'm making is that she's smart to take this moment. She's smart to grab the limelight. It's very hard to get oxygen. She's finally got some, and they want to undercut her credibility.
And the fact that so many people have jumped on and want her interview is not because she's telegenic. I mean, look at Sanders. Like, look at Sanders. We've talked about, I mean, he couldn't get onto these shows when he started his race also, but like, you know, and his unkempt hair and all this, and people love him anyway. But
I disagree. I think I'm a very beautiful man. I don't know what you're talking about.
That's a terrible, Bernie. Anyway, no, but I do think it's like the reason that so many people are interviewing her, and it's not this like fame hoary celebrity stuff, it's because her ideas, people are thirsty for her ideas, and they're surprised and inspired because of so many people being uninspired by feeling like, well, I guess I gotta vote for the Dem, and there's no other option, the sort of centrist Dem that's been there forever, and I'm not inspired by politics, and wow, so I think that's why. So
before we comment a little bit more, I do want to give a counterpoint, because while she does have great ideas, unfortunately she made a mistake or two, so she's done. But it's odd because other politicians have made mistakes as well, or said things that were dumb or crazy or ignorant, and they were not fully disqualified. I'd like to first go to a senator, actually. We're not talking about a congressman. Here is a senator, and here is his argument against the theory of climate change.
In case we have forgotten, because we keep hearing that 2014 has been the warmest year on record, I asked the chair, you know what this is? It's a snowball, and that's just from outside here. So it's very, very cold out, very unseasonal. So here, Mr. President, catch this.
Enough, you're disqualified. Go back down to the Bush leagues, and maybe someday you can come back. You're going to see congressional candidate Sarah Smith pointing out a great quote from Representative Mo Brooks, where he makes the argument that it's not climate change that's going to lead to the ocean level rising. It's that soil and rock comes out of the creeks and the streams, and that raises up the level of all of the oceans across the entirety of the earth. So Mo Brooks disqualified. Back in the day, George W. Bush said this is not like strictly speaking wrong, but it is stupid enough that he should be disqualified. You work 3 jobs? Uniquely American, isn't it? I mean, that is fantastic that you're doing that. He said that to a divorced mother of 3. And look, we could go through 100 examples of this. Dan Quayle back in the day said the Holocaust was an obscene period in our nation's history. I mean in this century's history, but we all lived in this century. I didn't live in this century. He then took a nap on the ground.
I'm not even sure if he did live in this century, to be honest. He may be one of those fictional characters we were talking about earlier.
Yeah. But was there ever a Dan Quayle?
But despite the incredible, irrefutable proof that Inhofe there showed that if you can find a snowball, global warming's not real, I think it's hard to counter-argue that. Snow still exists, and so the planet's not warming. But I think there's something much more sinister at the base of just some of the sense of why people are so hard trying to take down Cortez, AOC as you call her. And it's not, I don't think it's a coincidence that she's a Latina woman, and so much of what the Trump administration has been trying to demonize is Latino people. And I think that's why it is so dangerous of a moment, but also so important and hopeful of a moment in our nation's history right now, that just 2 months away is the midterm elections, and it is a defining moment for really which course our nation's gonna take. And I think it's such an opportunity that we need to really rally so much harder. Like James Comey tweeted, as a lifelong Republican, he thinks everybody has to vote Democratic in this midterm election just to save the Republic, not because of party or platform, but because the Republicans in Congress have abdicated their duty to put a check on this president who's undermining all of our norms, all of our institutions, all of our values. And so, regardless of what your political stance is, this is a time where you have to decide, is America the country we all believe it is? The words it is in our founding documents, which are that of embracing all people, on the Statue of Liberty, taking your huddled masses who are yearning to be free to come to America? Or do you want to become a country that is now, again, in its codifying racism, codifying classism, codifying only allowing white people to continue to climb? What America do you want? That's what has to be decided in 2 months. And I think we're not even fighting hard enough to flip the Senate. Oh, it's a hard path to flip the Senate, easier to flip Congress. Well, people have had to fight revolutionary wars, civil wars for the values of our country. All we have to do is flip a couple of seats in the Senate.
Knock on a few doors.
Knock on a few doors. Let's just flip both houses. Let's not just have an impeachment that can then embarrass Trump. Let's impeachment and removal from office. We need both houses for the future of the values of our country. Not about politics right now, it's about who we are.
2 easy ways to follow the Young Turks. One is hit the subscribe button down below, then you're a TYT subscriber. And second is ring the bell. And when you do that on YouTube, you're notified of our videos.